Hello everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Abstract Art Now. I'm your host Arnold Hayes, and in this show we talk about abstract artists and the work around the world that's happening today. We also discuss the abstract artists of the past that had a very powerful impact on what we see today in abstract art. I talk about my process as an abstract artist and what inspires me. So sit back and relax and listen to the first episode of Abstract Art Now. So let me tell you a little bit about my journey and story. I grew up in Los Angeles, California back in the 1980s and 90s. And I always wanted to be an artist. Ever since I was 8 years old, I dreamed of being an artist. So I started drawing and painting and honing my craft. Started writing poetry, also started doing music. I was in the band in the 8th grade. I started playing bass and understanding music and getting into music and poetry. But visual art was something I always wanted to do from the beginning. And so as I started to grow and into high school and into junior college, I was taking a lot of classes and doing a lot of artwork. And that's something I really wanted to do with my life. But you know how you grow up and then, you have your parents and friends and family. They're like, well, get a real job. Art's not going to pay the bills, or, you need to find a trade or something like that. So I found myself always having the feeling, well, I can't do the art anyway because everyone's telling me that artists make no money and I better find a job and career. So that was a struggle for me to figure that out. So one day I decided, hey, let me take my artwork. I'm going to just take my artwork down to a gallery. So I packed up my artwork in a portfolio, took it down to my gallery in Hollywood, California, and the curator loved the work. And so she immediately started giving me shows. And I can remember from that time on, I was doing shows almost every week in the Hollywood area. And so I really got excited because, I just took my work that I've been working with all these years and just took it out and started having shows. And I remember one show in particular that was really crazy. I remember looking up, about to go upstairs, and once I got into the gallery, and not only was the gallery filled with people, but they were also actors speaking out my poetry. They were saying my poetry as my art was around the venue. So that was pretty spectacular, pretty important. So I was well on my way in my dream. So probably a few years after that, I wanted to get married. And so what I did is, of course, I had to have a job and have a career. At least that's what I thought, definitely. So I went back to school and got into computer networking. And so I became a computer network engineer and a computer network architect. And so I started developing my career, had a couple of kids after I got married, but I never stopped doing my artwork. I wanted to develop my own style. And so what I did in my artwork is, through the medium of abstract art, I created my artwork with the computer components of the internet. And so inside my designs, you'll find computer symbols for the network, internet, packets type symbols, things that represent the internet in my work. And so you can look at my work and you can see with the hexadecimal and the ASCII letters. And in that, it talks about the internet and what's going on in the world today, all in my artwork. So I started doing that, creating my own style, never stopping developing my artwork for the next 15 years or 20 years or so. And so that became my signature style. I use my everyday, what's in my heart, what's in my work, and I put it into the artwork to develop my style. So that was kind of my external sort of struggle. Was, here I have this great paying job, I have kids, I need to pay for college, right? And so in the back of my head, you always have this thought, well, art's not going to be able to pay for all that. But then that was all in my head, because really my internal struggle was, do I put my work out there? Do I continue to do what I always wanted to do and realize this dream, this deep down dream of becoming an artist and being out there and doing shows again like I did years earlier, and just really putting my heart and soul? Because if you can't realize a dream, or if you never realize a dream, I believe you'll always have regret deep down in your heart. Or what if I kept doing it? Or what if I put myself out there? So that was all inside my internal struggle on, okay, you need to do what you love to do and put it out to the world. So I kind of have an epiphany. The epiphany was, jobs, especially in the tech industry and the way things are going, everything is not promised. The job will not be promised for you all the time. And so I said, if I just live my truth and I put my work out, and the way the internet and the way you can put your work, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere else, you can put your work out there and you can develop your own talent and you can realize your dreams. So I started working on work, and I'm doing that now. And so that's what my plan is. My plan is to talk with other artists, to display other artists, or put out other abstract artists, and just really showcase what abstract art is now, and in the process get my work out to around the world and just get my voice out, and do that while showing everyone the journey, how I did it, getting back into the shows, the marketing stuff that I used, everything. And to build that community of abstract artists and collectors and people who want to push this genre of art forward and really make an impact on the world. So one of the artists I want to talk about in the past that has definitely influenced me is the artist by the name of Piet Mondrian. And he created this painting called Composition with Red and Blue and Yellow back in 1929. That's just amazing. It was a small piece, an incredible piece. And if you take a look at it, I got a picture of it in the show notes. But you can see how amazing this work was. I mean, he had these big black lines, these thick lines, a gigantic square red coming off the canvas. To the left of that was a little blue and a little yellow right towards the bottom of the painting, and the rest was in these white squares. An amazing work. When he went to Paris back in that time, that's when he learned about Cubism in Paris, and that really influenced him when he started working. But this picture, Composition with Red, Blue, and Yellow, it was stark, it was minimalist, at the same time it was beautiful. So that's one of the artists I want to highlight from the past for this particular week, and that piece really, I love the colors in that, just the stark colors, and just how beautiful that piece still is. And one of my favorite artists that I like to talk about now, that's happening now, is abstract artist Robert Szot. And that's Robert, his last name is spelled S-Z-O-T. He's a painter in New York City, and he has these incredible abstract paintings, and I've followed him for a number of years. His paintings are absolutely amazing. If you look at the compositions and you see how he overlaps colors, and he has layers of texture and colors like red, blue, black. Amazing work, the way he paints and the way he layers his paints. It's almost like jazz when you look at one of his pieces. You can see the colors that he uses, you can see the composition, and you can see the layers, and the way the ending, the way his paintings end up are absolutely brilliant. So I'm going to have one of his paintings in the show notes, and then also a link to where you can go to his website, robertzot.com. I'm looking at one now. It's a beautiful one. He has it on Instagram also. The way he slices up the colors, the way he puts the colors together, you can see the layers of pencil work, the layers of paint that he uses, but everything that's coming through, the composition is just really hitting you in the face. So he's one of the artists that I want to highlight this week, Robert Szot again, and I'll have a picture of one of his paintings in the show notes, and then links to all of his social media. So definitely check him out, and check out all of his pieces on the website. And that's it for this week's show. Hope you have a blessed week, and we'll have another show of Abstract Art Now coming up.